What is good, everyone? It is the Crooked Commish here in the Clubhouse, the Chicago Clubhouse Network. Welcome back, everyone. It's good to have you back, and it's good to be in first place. That's just a side note there. As for my fellow Bears fans, it's good to be in first place, not just in our division, but on top of the whole damn conference. You know, it's one of those things like, man, who would have thought? Not me. But hey, look at us. Look at us. Hopefully, you guys can say the same thing about your fantasy teams, though. Fantasy playoffs. Yes, I said it. The playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
We're talking about the playoffs because the playoffs are right around the damn corner, at least when it comes to fantasy football here. Most fantasy leagues, if not all, starting here in week 15. So this is the last week of the regular season here for you to make or break. Unfortunately, there's about 4 teams that are on a bye this week here. So that is not going to help. But that's what we're here for here. If you guys have any start-sit questions, we're definitely here to answer those. If you guys have any questions on who to maybe pick up with this last bye week, struggling there, we're here for that as well. So I want to thank everyone that helped us get to 1,400 subscribers as well. That was our goal to get there by the end of the year, and with the month to go, we got there. So next year, we're going to obviously have a new goal, but help us kind of get a head start there on that goal. If you haven't already subscribed, please go ahead and do so already. If you have subscribed, do me a solid. Do the Commish a solid, and I'll get you back, I promise. Share the link. Share the link with your other fellow fantasy teammates, league mates, and let them know what the Commish has to say. So I want to thank people already hitting the comments. Lee, thank you for checking us out. It's good to see you. Yes, some definitely big matchups, especially tomorrow night. We have the Cowboys back at it again versus the Lions. So that's a game where both teams are desperate for a win. Hopefully you guys aren't in that situation. You're just as desperate for a win as well. But if you are, like I said, that's what myself and the Mouse from the Bay are here to do. Also, we do have a guest here tonight, a gentleman who is making his way back into the clubhouse, took our advice. Something that we always ask our guests to do is to come back to the clubhouse, and he did just that. So I'll introduce him once we get past, of course, the intro. Hit it.
Chicago Clubhouse Network. Crash out, this a crash course, no lecture. Lay hack, keep a signal caller under pressure. Check the stats, finna up the score for the record. Chicago Clubhouse Network. Crash out, this a crash course, no lecture. Lay hack, keep a signal caller under pressure. Check the stats, finna up the score for the record. Introducing first, he the Crooked Commish, making sure it's understood that he him. Next up, he the Mouth from the Bay, dynamic duo. Hit you with an ounce of that game, they make you bow face and salute the truth. Curve all the blase, blind and whoop-de-whoop. On the path to the bag, got that money and the power. They gon' ball every fantasy football hour. Got them sour, these hacks can't hack it. Meanwhile, they on point like a cactus. Want smoke and get smoked like some cat piss. If you can't be good, damn it, be good at it. Ay, Chicago Clubhouse Network. Crash out, this a crash course, no lecture. Lay hack, keep a signal caller under pressure. Check the stats, finna up the score for the record. Chicago Clubhouse Network. Crash out, this a crash course, no lecture. Lay hack, keep a signal caller under pressure. Check the stats, finna up the score for the record.
All right, guys, welcome back. Let's go ahead and get into it. First things first, before I get my guest in here. Today we are a man down. The Mouth from the Bay won't be joining us. He has some real life stuff he has to attend to. So in his place, we're going to have Mike Tipton from the Tipping Point. If you've been checking us out earlier in the season, he is a guest that has been here a few times, and like I said, is making his way back again to kind of share his fantasy thoughts with us. But first things first, the commissioner's report. Let's go ahead and take a look at the body bags and see which players got hurt, see how long they're going to be hurt for. So one of the biggest names that got somewhat injured, but may be available, Justin Herbert. He broke his left ring finger. It's non-throwing hand, so there's a good chance that he could be available for the game. He may even be a game time decision. So with that being said, go ahead and check his status throughout the week. Obviously, if he's practicing, that's a good sign. If he's not practicing, you're hoping at the very least by Friday he's got some sort of a practice in there. Next is a big killer to most guys this past week here, getting a big donut, was Amon St. Brown, or at least not getting the kind of value or the points that he's normally putting up. So he has an ankle injury. He is expected to miss a week, should be back week 15, right in time for the fantasy playoffs, that first round there. He could be available. There's a chance that he could be available week 14, but that's unlikely. But like I said, if you're a Brown owner, make sure you track his practices throughout the week. So next is Marvin Harrison Jr. Just got off the list, goes right back on the list. Heel injury, he is expected to miss at least this week, may be available the following week, week 15, but more than likely, like I said, this week he is at least going to be out for. Kyron Williams had a slight injury. He should be available and good to go. He was able to come back into the game last week, missed a little bit of time, but just in case he's not, Blake Corum is the guy to go get if he hasn't already been snatched up. Aaron Jones re-aggravated that shoulder that he had injured earlier in the season in week 9. So he is expected to miss about 1 to 2 weeks. So hopefully you guys did not cut Jordan Mason. If you did, hopefully he's still available. Go ahead and grab him back up. And he is going to be playing for the next 2 weeks, going to be getting all the starting action. And then last but not least, Parker Washington, a guy that was kind of picking up some steam there, has a hip injury, expected to miss this week, but should be available the following week. Real quick, let's get to the guys that should be coming back this week. Some of them may be game time decisions, but the big names that should be available week 14 is Dalton Kincaid, Jalen Reed, Omarion Hampton, T. Higgins, Drake London, Kyler Murray, Rashad Bateman, Braylon Allen, and Michael Mayer. All those guys are expected to make a return this week, but like I said, track their progress, and then we'll go from there. See if they're practicing. Omarion Hampton is a one that I myself personally will be keeping my eye on, because that is a guy that I've been just begging and waiting for to come back. And coming back right in time for the fantasy playoffs would be chef's kiss. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get my co-host for the evening, my guest for the evening as well. He is a guy that has done us a solid quite a few times in more than one ways. Not only being on the show, his team has done my team a solid. He predicted very early in the season, after that win, that this was going to be the launching point for the Bears and my fantasy football team as well. How the hell he knew that, I don't know. But he was spot on, because not only has the Commish been rocking it in fantasy this year, he is also, his favorite team has also been killing it this year as well. So a guy that I am very, very happy to have back in the clubhouse. Hopefully you guys are going to be happy just as much as I am. My boy, Mike Tipton from the Tipping Point. Everyone, please.
Applause.
Oh, that's too kind.
No, you deserve it. You deserve it. But I mean, Nostradamus over there, definitely called it with my Bears. And like I said, I like to throw in my fantasy team there. It's good for the story. But that are going to launching point, and they're going to go ahead and skyrocket. And I mean, you may have even said they're going to win the damn Super Bowl along with me winning fantasy championships. I mean, I just kind of blacked out there for a moment there.
I don't think I went that far, but if they do win the Super Bowl, I'm taking the credit.
My man, I'll give you the credit too. I don't mind that, But like I said, you called it early in the season after the Bears and the Cowboys played. You said, hey, the Bears are gonna, go off and running. They've won 9 out of 10 and well on their way to making the playoffs. Still have some work to do, but like I said, they have a lot of momentum going their way. But another big matchup coming up against Green Bay.
As a Bears fan, like how do you feel they're going to do, right? Because like if they handle their business, they get to the playoffs. But once you get to the playoffs, it's a completely different beast. So how do you feel about this team if they make it to the playoffs? Is like making the playoffs great for you guys, or do you want to see like a sustained run?
So it's a tricky question. In one aspect, yeah, it would be, if we make the playoffs and get a bye but lose in the conference championship or some shit like that. Yeah, in a nutshell, you could say yes, a pretty successful season, because the word on the street, we're a year early, than we should be. But honestly, like in today's game, I think there's no such thing as being a year early. I think you need to seize the moment and kind of capture it here and now. Obviously, Caleb doesn't have the playoffs are a whole different beast and Caleb doesn't have that playoff experience. Even, so far he's shown to have some ice in his veins, but that would be an ultimate test there to really still play that way and show that kind of cold-bloodedness, you know what I mean, to not have any nerves and still thrive in that situation. But like I said, I think you got to strike while the iron's hot. And if the Bears get the 1 seed or even get the 2 seed, they need to keep it rolling and take this thing all the way. Because real quick, just to finish up, last year, Washington, they said, oh, they're a year early, but next year they're going to get better and they're going to build upon that and then make even a deeper run. The team before that, Houston, oh, they're a year early, but they're going to build upon that. CJ's going to get more experience. And then next year, they're going to fucking be and each one of those teams took a step back that following year. And that could very well be us the following year if we kind of get in that mindset. So that's kind of my thoughts there. Go ahead.
I have a firm belief, like I think if the Bears hold on to, like you said, the 1 or 2 seed, the easier it is for them to stay away from the Rams until like you get to the NFC Championship game or something like that, the better it is. Because I think we can all say, I think the Rams are the best team in the NFL right now, right? Like I don't trust New England. I got some faith in your Bears, but again, like you highlighted all the stuff, right? Like they're a young team. They don't have that playoff experience. Let's not forget, that Rams team won a Super Bowl pretty damn recently. Like there's a lot of experience on that team that got there. So to me, if they can just stay out of the way of the Rams, the Bears have a chance of making a pretty good sustained playoff run. But they've got to handle their business. And it wouldn't, like, I also wouldn't be surprised if they have one of those games where they fall on their face and it kind of brings the confidence level down.
They're due for that, for sure. They are due for that. They're on a high streak. I mean, this game is definitely a big one against Green Bay, at Green Bay as well. I mean, being 1 and 2 in the conference, really can't afford to lose this game, if not any more games, really, to be honest with you. I mean, you'd rather finish 4 and 2 than 3 and 3, really, but nonetheless, like, this game is really big just for the Bears' confidence in general, how they're going to get going. The Cleveland game could be a trap game at that point because they go right back and play Green Bay again at home. So, I mean, if they win that game, you could be already thinking about, even if you lose this game, you could already be thinking about, oh, well, we don't want to lose again to Green Bay coming up again. In Cleveland, we should beat them with Shador. And, it's, they're not that tough of a team. You know what I mean? But hopefully Ben Johnson kind of keeps these guys focused. They seem like they're focused each time. They're coming out with a solid game plan. The penalties are kind of cut down a bit. Caleb, his numbers aren't crazy at all, but I feel like he's playing within that offense. turnovers aren't, like I said, it's kind of come down a bit as well, as long with the penalties. So um, overall, like I said, I'm pretty satisfied and happy on how the Bears are kind of been playing this far so far this season.
I'm happy for you. Like I said at the beginning of the season, I thought the Bears were going to be a solid team. I thought they'd be like a wild card team. Dude, you guys got a bright future as long as that team can stay healthy.
I agree. But to be fair, that's a lot. That's most NFL teams.
I'll say that's the biggest if, right?
Yeah. For sure. Real quick, I want to hit up some of these comments. What's up, Tip? I need to hurry out and get to Walmart or Earl Mart before just the tip. Okay. I didn't know if maybe there's something called different at Texas.
I don't have control of the show, so there is no just the tip today. I can send you the file if you want to, but it's I don't have control of the show today. So you're safe from the tip for now.
And then we got a question coming in hot and fast here from Easy. Is it Equal Ruiz? Okay. Yes, that guy. Yes. Should I flex Kyle M or Jordan Addison? Kyle M. Let's see. Well, let's take a look here. Receivers. Let's see what Addison has going for him.
Which Kyle M is he talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to kind of put together as well and piece together. Hopefully you can kind of clarify that. But let's see. Yeah, there we go. Let's take a look at Addison here.
For me, if I'm just being as blunt as I can possibly be, I am staying away from the Minnesota Vikings offense completely. Right? Like even if JJ McCarthy's starting, we've seen he is ass. And in the games that he's not ass, it's only in the fourth quarter where he's not ass. You don't want to risk that. Like to me, I don't know who Kyle M is, but Kyle M sounds like a better option than Jordan Addison or even Justin Jefferson at this point, because the quarterback room in Minnesota is so bad. And like I feel like an idiot because at the beginning of the year, I was like, if there's a team that's quarterback proof, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is, it's the Minnesota Vikings because of the talent they had. They have proven me wrong. But like they need a halfway decent quarterback. I thought it could just be me and you out there just throwing the ball and we'd be okay. That team is bad. Quarterback is bad. Offensive line is bad. You mentioned earlier Aaron Jones is hurt again.
Yeah.
It's I am staying away from the Minnesota Vikings offense completely.
Yeah, and I don't blame you. Like I said, even like how JJ, he likes to be referred to as 9, so maybe we should kind of, respect his wishes there. Since he's a whole nother animal when he gets upset. You wouldn't like him when he's mad, apparently.
You got to earn a nickname. Like play well on the field, and then I'll call you by your nickname. But for right now, your name is JJ McCarthy because your mama calls you JJ McCarthy. I might even go full government name. What does JJ stand for?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, somebody should look
Jonathan
that up for sure.
James McCarthy.
Jonathan James McCarthy.
James from now on. He does not deserve a nickname. Play well, then you get a nickname.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair too, because like I said, Max Brosmer didn't really do anything, so I understand why you really don't want to, you're not thrilled with Addison at all. He hasn't really done anything his last few games regardless. Who the hell is Kyle M? Kyle M. Who? He it's like it has to be a mistypo with the last name. Like maybe he's thinking of the receiver from New England, Kyle Williams. But like I said, just looking at Addison's stats here, getting targeted quite a bit, but just really no real downfield threat. That's kind of where he thrives at as well and stuff. So going against Washington, Washington's not a terrible matchup, but what's a terrible QB is either Brosmer or, Was it Jackson James? You said.
Jonathan something.
Yeah.
So I was looking it up. I think Kyle M might be the running back for the Bears.
Oh, Kyle Monangai. Oh, if that's the case, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think I would, man, but then Monangai's got a tough matchup with what's his name? With Green Bay coming up here. Green Bay's defense has been really solid this year.
Almost as good as the Dallas Cowboys defense.
I mean, ever since you guys made that trade with the Jets to get Williams, I mean, defense hasn't been half bad.
Jerry was playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers.
Yes, yeah, that's what you gotta kind of have to tell yourself here.
Convince myself it's nonsense.
Right. I mean, yeah. Like I said, that move definitely is working out a lot better than the Parsons trade for sure. But we don't need to harp on that. But Monangai's definitely he's getting his fair share of snaps, around 30%, 50% of the snaps, getting their 12 carries. Got 22 last week, but the Bears ran all over Philadelphia. You're probably not going to expect him to run for 130 against Green Bay. But if he can get that for you right there, 40 yards and a touchdown, I mean, that may be his ceiling. What do you think?
I mean, I'm again staying away from the Minnesota Vikings defense or offense. Like I know they're going to be down. I know they're going to be a one-dimensional team, and they're going to have to pass the ball. But we've seen that this team is just bad. So at least Kyle Monangai might get you a touchdown here or there. If you get anything from Jordan Addison, it's going to be a miracle. I have zero expectations for the Vikings.
So let's put, I guess. So do you think Monangai has a higher floor than I guess Addison at this point? Because I mean, thinking about it this way, if the Bears running game gets halted by Green Bay, and they abandon the run because Green Bay or Chicago finds himself in a hole, and they kind of just stop running the ball overall. I mean, Monangai's floor at that point, like how high can a ceiling really be? You know what I mean? He's going to be, it could be just a 3-point game at that point, maybe even a donut at that point.
But I mean, that can happen to anybody, like to any team, right? Like Jordan Addison can catch a 20-yard slant or something like that, and then go out of the game with a hamstring. Like those things can happen just in any game. But I think if the Bears keep playing the way that the Bears have been playing, in order to win against Green Bay, it's all about ball control. So I feel like it's going to be a heavy run style game. And if the Bears get a lead, the way you keep that Packers offense, which can be explosive at times, the way you keep them off the field is by chewing up the clock. We saw Kansas City try to do it against Dallas, right? Like Kansas City was running a lot, especially in the first half of the thing. The way that the Eagles offense was kept on the sideline last week was because the Bears just chewed up the entire clock. Like that's kind of the way that Chicago, like that's their identity. They have to stick with that.
Yeah, no, I mean that's definitely been their identity, especially since the bye. That's one of the things they really hashed out. What's definitely helped them keep that identity is the offensive line has stayed relatively healthy for the most part, especially that core unit right in the middle between Dolman, Jackson, and Tooney. I mean, those guys have really, like, it was a little shaky in the beginning. Jackson was getting beat quite often, it seemed like. But after the bye, like I said, they really kind of gelled together, formed, and have been pretty solid to where most of their Pro Bowlers on offense is probably going to be on that offensive line. So, but I guess if you're thinking, I guess overall with this question here, you're saying it's more likely you have more faith in Monangai getting a touchdown than Addison getting a kind of fluke, Hail Mary kind of one of 3 catches end up being a touchdown here for, 60 yards or whatever.
100%.
All right. I mean, I can get behind that. Like I said, Monangai's definitely been the more trustworthy player of the two, especially looking at his more recent games. He's been effective. I think what his lowest carry total has been 4, but that was all the way back in week 4. Other than that, 7 has been his lowest carry. So, I mean, he's involved. They give him some goal line carries as well. So, I mean, if he can sneak a touchdown in there and get, that 40-yard mark, I think you can't ask for much more than that, especially against the team that they're playing against in Green Bay. So, but thank you for the question. If any more start sits, Ashley, hi. Thanks very much for joining the show. What's up? How you doing there? Janin, hello. Thank you very much for joining the show and checking us out. All of you guys, please don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already. Tommy Cananza, welcome back to the Clubhouse. Thanks for checking us out. I said the Bears would fall late in the season. I think it's more wishful thinking. Sorry, Commish, I need you all to start losing. Well, you may get your wish. Like I said, we definitely we don't have any cupcakes kind of going down the line there. I know you can look at Cleveland and say that's a cupcake, but there's nothing soft about Cleveland's D. Pause there. Their defense, though, and Myles Garrett. You said it, not me. You said that one, not me. But yeah, Myles Garrett's a beast, man. Myles Garrett is a beast. He's destroying anyone and everyone that comes in his way. So I am not looking forward to that matchup, and I'm sure Caleb's not looking forward to it. Tommy has a question for us, though. In the flex option, let us know if this is PPR. Oh, yes, it is PPR. But in the flex option, Debo or Addison, I think I already know what you're going to say since we just talked about how horrible the QB situation is over there in Minnesota, and I'm okay with that.
I want to know what's wrong with Tommy's team, right? Like, if those are your options, Debo Samuel or Jordan Addison, I think he's got Kyle Pitts or Pollard that he can put into those positions as well. Like, I'm staying again. I want to stay away from Minnesota's offense, but it's not like Washington's been much better. I think Debo Samuel might be rated slightly higher than Jordan Addison. I got to see where Kyle Pitts is, but Kyle Pitts is slightly above Debo Samuel. It's options, man. And then Kyle Pitts is probably going to have Kirk Cousins throwing him the ball, and we saw what that was like the last time Kirk Cousins has been in the game. Like, none of those options are great. Like, I guess Debo maybe. Like, who are they matched up against this weekend?
This weekend they are matched up against Minnesota at Minnesota. But so I believe, like I said, on the return list when I was reading it earlier, Jaden Daniels should be making his way back this week, possibly. So, I mean, I know he's coming off of injury. Maybe he'll have a little bit of rust, but does that, I mean, you don't need much intriguement, at all, because we, like I said, talked about Addison and how bad he's been this year, and at least the last couple of games. But with Debo, he's still involved in the offense. Still getting his targets here at the last 6, 5, 8, 7 targets last game. 5 catches, 7 catches, 4 catches, 5 catches. So, he's not getting very many touchdowns. I think he had 3 touchdowns there up until this last game, but 2 back-to-back. So throughout the season, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So not doing much in the running game, though. I was kind of thinking that Washington would have maybe used them more, running the ball a bit, especially at the goal line, but they really haven't used them that much at all for that situation. But I think it's a small, no doubt it's Debo.
Like if it was older Debo, then I'd be like, or like 49ers Debo, I'd be like, oh yeah, no, because they'll use him in all those different trick packages and stuff like where you kind of thought Washington was going to use him whenever they got rid of Brian Robinson, right? Like, Debo would have fit into that mold, but Washington just hasn't. But I don't know how much of that is because Jaden Daniels is hurt, right, or like was hurt, and then Marcus Mariota's your guy. But you would figure if you have Mariota as your quarterback, that you're going to, try to do more gimmick plays to, throw the defense a curveball here. So I would have thought Debo would have gotten more carries out of the backfield. It's just, if those are my 4 options, right? Like Jordan Addison, Deebo Samuel, Tony Pollard, or Kyle Pitts, running backs get more action, so I would lean more towards Pollard. But I would look at the waiver wire, man. I would try to find somebody that's out there, like somebody that's got to be out there.
Let's look at Pollard's action real quick.
Oh, I've
Let's
got
see
him on one of my fantasy teams. It's not great.
Oh shit! Oh, really?
But I've also
Yeah.
I have Jordan Addison on one of my fantasy teams, and I have Kyle Pitts on one of my fantasy teams. But again, he's the lead running back. It's just that Tennessee is bad. So
Not only are they bad, but they're going against Cleveland too. We were just talking about how hard that D was.
The
I
hardest
don't know how.
NFL.
Oh my dear Lord. This is a family show, Mr. Tipton. Come on now. You can't go wild like you do at the tipping point over there. Gotta kind of reel it in a little here, Tommy, I hope your kids weren't hearing that.
Their defense is legit. Like it's a hard defense to run against.
No, yeah, for sure.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking about that big, hard Cleveland D.
I think I'm talking about the same thing, but yeah, I mean, Pollard's not going to go up against any soft D in Cleveland for sure.
No.
And his carries aren't really much to brag about. He's got 10 carries the last game, 11 carries the last game, 10 carries at 11. So I mean, and he's not doing much with them. His yardage isn't too much. He had 60 yards the last game against Jacksonville, and really not much of a factor in the passing game as well. He's getting some sprinkles here and there, but overall, it almost feels like he's getting phased out. I mean, he's right around that 50%, 40% snap rate with Tennessee right now as well. So I mean, I don't know how much you're really loving Pollard, against a very hard defense. Let's just say defense, that, and not have people read into it any more than that. So Tommy's saying that the waiver wire is a worse option in this league. He's scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
Let's say, is this like a 14-team league? Like, how many effing teams do you have in here? Because I'm in a 14-team dynasty league, and it is a nightmare. Like the waiver is the worst place on earth. So that's the only way I could assume that Tommy, like the waiver wire is that bad for them.
So maybe he's thinking with Pitts. I mean, and that's could be very possible there. I mean, depending on how big the league is, yeah. But he could be he's talking himself into Pitts here, kind of like hoping the hot hand, hits. Pitts had 15 points the last game, 7 catches for 80 yards, no touchdowns. But even for the season, I think he only has 1 to speak of. So,
but that's the thing we always get from Kyle Pitts, right? Is like you get the one big game followed by a bunch of trash. So if he had the big game last week, I'm going to go with history and think that this week is going to just be a pedestrian or garbage game from Kyle Pitts, because that's what his entire career is. He came out of college as like a guy that we all thought was just going to take over this league. And whatever they're doing in Atlanta is not helping him out at all.
No, it really isn't. It's a damn shame too. Every time they got a new coach too, you would think, okay, this is the coach that kind of like unlock his full potential, utilize the type of weapon that we envision him coming out of college that he would be at a pro level, and it's just like it's kind of falling flat. He says it's a 14-man league here.
That's wild.
So, and then we got Augustine as well. Michael Penix isn't that good as well.
And then that's the thing.
I mean, that's fair too.
Kyle Pitts ate last week because Drake London wasn't there. Drake London is projected to come back, and again, like he's your clear number 1 option. Then you got Bijan and you got some other stuff like that. So, I just feel like this week, and maybe it's because I've fallen victim to it for so long. Like I've been one of these people where like I hold on to Kyle Pitts because I just hope and I pray, right? But it always feels like you get that one great Kyle Pitts game, and you don't get anything else after that.
I mean, and that's fair. I mean, look at all his games prior to that. 4 points, 3 points, 5 points, 7 points, 14 points. So there's that bump, but then see, there's a 13 point right before that. His matchup is Seattle. So I mean, how scared are you of Seattle's defense?
I like Seattle's defense. I think the top three teams in the NFC are the Rams, the Bears, and the Seahawks. Which is, I admit when I'm wrong. I was shitting on the Seattle Seahawks for signing Sam Darnold to $100 million deal. Maybe Sam Darnold got it fixed because he's looking like Minnesota's missing him, and he ain't missing
Oh, for sure.
Minnesota at all.
No, for sure. Minnesota's way in his rearview mirror there. So it was kind of like, thanks for what you did for me, but I'm off to bigger and better things now with Sam Darnold. So and
Think about
definitely,
this. If you're Minnesota, we're watching Sam Darnold continue the career resurgence. We're watching Daniel Jones lead the Colts to being like halfway decent and like
mhm.
actually looking like a good quarterback. You had
And they
both
had
of
them
them
both.
on your roster, and you chose JJ McCarthy ahead of them.
They chose door number 3, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, at this moment, it doesn't look like it's paying off. I asked my in-law, who's a Vikings fan, if he's worried at all about JJ, or if he just thinks he needs more time. He's saying he hasn't lost the faith, thinks he just needs a bit more time and coaching. As a Bears fan, hopefully that's not the case.
You're like as a
But
Bears fan, I hope
like,
they keep him just like this for the next 10 years.
right. I hope they never stop trying with this kid. I really do. I really do. So, I mean, but hey, don't stop believing. I just keep playing that Journey song. Don't stop believing. He's gonna get there one day. He's gonna get there. Bob Barker would have been embarrassed. Bum bum ba boom. Yeah, I'm not good with the sound effects. I need to get that one though. But also, we have a question from Tommy. Devin Neal and John Michi at the top of the flex options. You liking any of those names? Maybe a bit better.
No.
Augustine, don't worry. I'm not quitting my day job. I will stop singing.
Don't
So,
stop believing.
oh, look what I started. All
The
right.
voice of an angel.
I mean, isn't that a song? No, that was Lips of an Angel. But anyways,
I
let's
have
get back on. Yeah, that's allegedly. I'm not looking to test that out. I will trust your wife Destiny with that information there. So if she says it's true, then hot damn, I guess you do. But uh, Devin Neal or John Michi. Michi had a decent game, not this last game, but the game before that with the Jets. The Jets really don't have anybody in the receiving option at all. So I mean,
Mitchell's been stepping up ever since he got traded from Indianapolis.
yeah,
And he's been getting a ton of the targets. I just don't trust the quarterback options. You know what I mean? Like
right.
out of those 6, Deebo Samuel, Jordan Addison, Kyle Pitts, Tony Pollard, Neal, and Michi, like
Hmm.
I guess the one that you could say might have the most upside would be Deebo because he's got Jaden Daniels coming back. And we've seen like he's a viable receiving option, especially now that Terry McLaurin is back. He's not going to be, Debo's not going to be the number one option. So now the focus is going to go over to Terry. Maybe Debo eats a little more. Maybe there's more upside there than there is with the other guys. But all 6 of those names, I can think of more flaws than I can think of positives.
I mean, at this point of the season, I mean, you're you had a key injury. You maybe lost a St. Brown or something like that. Um, is there anybody on that Detroit's receiving squad, maybe like was it the Reynolds or whatnot that you maybe would like or thinking about picking up instead?
Man, I feel so bad for the Detroit Lions because you can say, okay, maybe we can make it without Sam Laporta, but now you're missing Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's going to be, and like your offensive line has been bad pretty much all season long. Like the only explosive player they have is Jamison Williams, and like even then, you're kind of like, do you really trust that? Like I know he's going to be the number one option, so maybe someone else is going to start getting some more play. And like I had expectations for Detroit, which is a weird thing to say. I just think this is going to be one of those years for them where they take a step back because of all the injuries and because of all the turnover in the coaching ranks and things like that they've had. Like I don't know, man. Like I'm staying away. I'm staying away from Detroit players as well right now.
Okay. I mean, it's make or break for both of you guys this week, for sure. I'm expecting that game between you guys tomorrow night to be like a classic shootout, maybe a 28-34 game type of game.
If it winds up being a shootout, and I know I said this before the Bears beat the brakes off the Dallas Cowboys, but if it becomes a shootout, I trust the Cowboys offense right now more than I trust the Lions offense. If it winds up being a close game, I trust the Cowboys offense more than I trust the Lions offense. The Lions seem so flawed this year. And I would have thought, you have a little bit of a bounce back. Maybe you get something working for you. The Lions they don't look good.
Augustine says that the Lions have the answer to those guys. Use Gibbs and Montgomery. So just run it down the Cowboys' throat.
But that's the thing is the Dallas Cowboys run defense is much more improved now. Now that you got Kenny Clark, now that you got Quinnen Williams, the Cowboys run defense isn't like
as bad as it was earlier.
The issue with the Dallas Cowboys is that they give everything up over the top. So you need to be able to pass against them. That's what softens the runs for the other teams. Whenever the Dallas Cowboys give up those big plays, they have to sag back a little bit and can't bring the pressure against the run. I'm not threatened right now. If I'm as a Cowboys fan, I'm not threatened by the Detroit Lions, wide receiver options.
TC says, I trust the Cowboys defense not to make it a shootout. How about that? Would have never said that 4 weeks ago, though. So,
yeah, no.
I mean, like I said, Williams has definitely made a difference, at least made a bigger impact than Clark. Was it that you traded for earlier with Parsons?
Yeah, Kenny Clark.
Kenny Clark. Okay.
And I know people are probably going to be like, well, you have Mayotron, Tesla is one of the receivers that you can use over there in Detroit. But
Mayotron, that's hilarious.
But I mean, again, man, like they just have so many issues for the Detroit Lions. And like I'm fully expecting the Cowboys to shit the bed in this game. Don't get me wrong. Like I have no expectations. I'm not delusional. If they win this game, that's when I start becoming delusional, right? But I have a feeling this is the type of game that the Dallas Cowboys, in the history of me being a Dallas Cowboys fan, this is the game that they drop that ultimately breaks all our hearts. So if they can get over that hump, I will become insufferable.
Really? All right. Well, thanks for the pre-warning there. I could bring some earplugs.
I hate them. I hate them for giving me this hope right now. They're doing me wrong. You saw it, man. At the beginning of the year, I was like, just lose. I'm fine with it.
Yeah. You were.
It's the worst thing they can do is giving me hope.
Yeah, especially after the Parsons trade. You're like, I'm good with the one pick. I'm good with the one pick. I'm ready to embrace the suck. But things are, now that we're at this point of the season, you can't really, it's hard to kind of say that now because you're like, well, I mean, hey.
Dude, I did it on yesterday's show where I was like, look, the Cowboys went out, the Eagles go 3-2, we get the division. Like, there's a possibility.
You start talking yourself into it all of a sudden. Next thing you know, all of a sudden you're like, how did I get here? How did I get back to the same spot where I'm talking myself in to my team somehow squeaking out, winning the division, getting the playoffs, and fucking pulling off some miracle fucking run, and all of a sudden we're in the Super Bowl. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, fuck, I told myself I wouldn't do that.
I was also saying yesterday too, like they would make this amazing run to win the division, get to the playoffs, and then shit the bed in the wild card round.
Well, let's take a look at some of these guys that may have shit the bed for some of these fantasy teams here. As we know, at the beginning of the season, there's a lot of high expectations. There's a lot of expectations for these players to do well according to where they get drafted at, and kind of what kind of value that we place on these players at the beginning of the season. Taking a look at some of the average draft positions at these QBs, I think it's safe to say guys like Lamar Jackson, drafted in the second round here, late second round. Would you say a clear case, one of those guys that didn't live up to expectations, or you give guys that had an injury throughout the season a kind of a pass? Not so much he didn't produce because he kind of lost his curveball there, or he just didn't produce because he, kind of got unlucky.
I do the yes and the no, right? Like, I believe having an injury, you deserve to have a little bit of a pass.
Mhm.
Fantasy wise, he's okay, right? Like it's not MVP Lamar Jackson that we're used to seeing, but he's okay, right? Like you would take Lamar Jackson over, I'd say, half of the starting quarterbacks, maybe even like 2/3 of the starting quarterbacks in the NFL right now, because you know that he's going to be dynamic. He's going to be able to do some stuff. From like a fan standpoint, if I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan, I am super disappointed in this team and like Lamar Jackson and his performances and stuff like that. That game we saw on Thanksgiving was an embarrassment. So I'm fully thinking that like he's going to bounce back and maybe have himself one of those like Lamar Jackson games that we're used to seeing. Pittsburgh's defense isn't what Pittsburgh's defense used to be. So maybe he's able to go out there and just dominate. But so far this season, he's been pretty disappointing, which is weird to say about a dude who's a two-time MVP.
For sure. I mean, he started off the season playing at the level that everyone was expecting him to. Hasn't seemed to be the same player since then. Came back from the injury against Miami, had a good 30-point game, but then since then it's kind of been going downhill. 18-point game, 7-point game, 7-point game, 10-point game against Cincinnati, and Cincinnati's defense wasn't, is not the talk of the town as being one of the best defense. So even coming back from those injuries, these last 4 games have been very disappointing. Going into the playoffs, I'm not sure how much would you trust him, or would you be looking elsewhere as we go into this final week of the season? Would you try and look to see if maybe do I start a Jordan Love or someone else other than the guy that I drafted this early here, if you needed a win this season?
I mean, it's all about who's still available, right? And like, I don't think in any league, I don't think a good quarterback or a solid enough quarterback would be available right now. Like if you've got another big name quarterback on your roster that you kind of trust a little more, by all means. But as of right now, I think you got to stick with like who brought you to the dance, right? Like it's one of those things of like if you're on the bubble of making it to your fantasy league playoffs, or if you're like me in a 14-team league where you're the first team out, even though you outscored 90% of the league.
That sucks.
It does. It's the worst.
That sucks so bad.
Also, like in this 14-team league, they started the playoffs this week, which means there are people who have players that are on bye weeks. It's the weirdest dynasty league I've ever been a part of, but you know what? I'm good. I'm fine with it. I'm not upset at all. I'm crying a little bit on the inside because I think this year I'm going to miss every single fantasy playoff, and that's never happened to me before.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to check the show out more then. That's what that's telling me. You're not checking us out more often. You need to check us out, take our advice and whatnot, or just kind of hang out in the clubhouse a bit more when we do our fantasy show so we can kind of, talk it out together, talk through our problems together.
There we go. I like that.
So another guy that quarterback position's been pretty disappointing as well. It's kind of the same thing, with the injuries though. Jaden Daniels drafted extremely high in a lot of drafts this year, kind of going off his rookie year. But that injury bug kind of caught him early. So I guess it's a little unfair to kind of put him in that category. Is it unfair? Like with Hurts, do you think he's kind of lived up to his expectations thus far?
That's another one where I think, like, fantasy wise, you're happy.
Okay.
If you're a fan of the team, you're not, because how can you be a fan that's happy with the 28th or 29th ranked offense in the NFL? But from a fantasy standpoint, like, he takes control of the ball. He's got a great, touchdown to turnover ratio. He gets you yards on the ground as a runner. Like, he's a solid quarterback, right? So fantasy wise, you got to be happy with him. Fan wise, you probably hate him.
Yeah, I mean, you probably hate more the offensive coordinator there in Philadelphia than more the player. Right. Yeah, that's the guy you kind of have the most disdain for, not putting Hurts in the right position and whatnot. But
And
let's see.
also, just so Augustine, I'm gonna answer this question here, because yes, I'm missing fantasy playoff stuff, but I am 123 and 55 in my picks this year when it comes to picking the teams head to head and money line. That is a phenomenal rate of success that I have right now. So I feel like I'm doing okay somewhere.
Yeah, no. That's the tip of the cap to you, sir. Like, that's very impressive. Very
I wish
nice.
sports gambling was legal in Texas.
I need to make you my bookie here. So
hey, I'm with you, man.
let's do it. All right. Well, we'll talk off here. As crooked commish here, this is not good, to talk on here. Why aren't you rich? Well, you don't know his spending habits. You know what I mean? Like,
I was going to say, you have no idea how much I spend on Coke.
Coca-Cola is very good drink. That's one of the top selling, drinks here in America right now. If I don't
exactly.
So, hey, there you go, Augustine.
Yeah, see?
Mystery solved. But let's take a look at some of these running backs that probably were a disappointment, may have been team killers this season for some of these guys here.
I am making the Cricket Commish regret asking me to be on the show today.
No. We're good. We're good. The Cricket Commish is used to things like this, maybe not so blatant out in the open, you know what I mean? We like to do these things kind of behind the curtain, but there's nothing that, some clever editing can't fix. So we got ways around it. It's okay. Don't you worry, Mike. We got you, Mikey. Barkley, overall draft positions. If not a top 5 pick, some top 2 pick. How much do you think guys are kicking themselves in the ass here?
That's one of the biggest disappointments in the NFL. I was surprised in my dynasty league that I'm in, and then in like one of my redraft leagues, that Saquon Barkley was there for me to take him, because I was drafting like 5th or 6th. I jumped on the opportunity of drafting Saquon Barkley there. And it feels like it was a wasted draft pick this season. And any other season, you're like, okay, maybe I do okay with Saquon. He just hasn't lived up to it. Like it's just not there. Not getting you the yards, not getting you the touchdowns. Right. And this is a Philadelphia team that's a run-first team, right? Like A.J. Brown's upset because they don't pass the ball. And it's just not happening for them.
Yeah, I mean, and that's probably one of the other things why the offensive coordinator's house got egged. Like I said, looking at the season, he barely had his first 100-yard rushing game. Like I said, that was week 8, so it took week 8 before that to happen, and hasn't had one since. So definitely Philadelphia, definitely fantasy owners have been expecting a lot more. Drafted that high, you're expecting this guy to have some 2 touchdown type of games. And he didn't have that until week 8 as well. And that was 1 catching, 1 receiving. Hasn't had a 2 touchdown game at all the rest of the season. And even the touchdowns the last few weeks here have been non-existent. Was that the last 4 games, no touchdowns at all. So, I mean, like looking back, Jonathan Taylor was there. You know what I mean?
But I mean, like, again, hindsight's 20/20, right? Like, We can
Yep.
look at it right now and be like, oh, if I had drafted this guy, everything would have been so much better. The fact of the matter is like, I see the comment over here from Wise OG, who is an Eagles fan. We made a bet at the beginning of the year that Saquon Barkley was not going to be able to reach 2,000 yards. She thought Saquon would get there. I knew Saquon would not get there, but I thought he'd get 1,300.
Sure,
He's not
that's
even
fair.
for that, dude. Like it's just not good.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. Hopefully next year he's another year older. It'll be interesting to see kind of how far he slides down fantasy boards in next year's redraft leagues. A guy that maybe he could sneak into the second round for sure, depending on how these last few games go for sure for him. So he's got the Chargers coming up next, Vegas, Washington, and then Buffalo, and then back finishing with Washington. But typically, fantasy season's done by week 18.
And with me, in one of my leagues, I was able to get Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry, and they both just like it hasn't been good. And Derrick Henry is getting a little better, but it's just it wasn't good. And like any other time that you're able to draft Saquon and Derrick Henry in any league, you're thinking to yourself, I am going to dominate this league. And here I am, the first team out of the playoffs.
Man, it's one of those things, it's like I this is not how I wrote it out for myself. I wrote it out to be a hell of a lot more fun and enjoyable at this point in the season than I'm having. So it's one of those things where it's like, man, too bad I couldn't use the money I spent this year as a tax write-off in fantasy.
It was basically a donation.
Yeah, but I guess with fantasy, you're due to have those kind of years and make those kind of donations every once in a while. But as long as it doesn't become a consistent thing, that's all that matters here. Bijan Robinson was the third pick in the sleeper fantasy drafts. Would you say that guys were happy with his season here, despite having Algier kind of stealing some carries here and there?
I think you're not happy, but you're not like as angry as Saquon Barkley owners are, right? Like it's one of those, okay, like he does good, he does okay. He's never given you like a complete dud. So at least that, right? Like, and if he has, it's few and far between.
Yeah, there's only one game here where he had a 5-point game against Miami. That was week 8. Other than that,
with as bad as Miami's defense is, how did that happen?
Algier must have blew up that game. That's the only thing I could think of. He only had 9 carries that game, or that's the game that Penix, maybe that was his one good game of the season there.
Oh, that might actually be the Drake London game where Drake London went off for like 34 or like 40 fantasy points, because I had Drake London on my team and he helped me win by 0.02 points.
Jesus, talk about by the skin of your teeth.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure
on social media too. I was like, that's the best way.
Yeah, bro, and then you're holding your breath for any kind of stat correction that may come along too, because the slightest of stat corrections completely tilts it the other way.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bijan for the most part, solid season for being the third pick. Had a couple 100-yard games as well. At least one multi-touchdown game there. And then in the receiving aspect has been decent as well. Featured, getting a decent amount of targets most games and making the most of them. So not very many touchdown yards, or touchdown catches, I should say, but can get some decent yards. Had 100 yards, another two 100-yard receiving games as well. So, yeah, I don't think you can complain too much. Definitely not as much as Barkley owners were, or maybe even guys that drafted this guy, Ashton Genty. Here, I know he was going at the end of some first rounders and maybe even some second rounders as well. He was the average 12th pick. So how frustrating do you think it was having this guy on your team?
So I'm going to sound like a broken record. in that same fantasy league that I was in, where I am the first team out. Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and Ashton Genty. Those were I was able to get them, and it wasn't like 1, 2, 3 picks. Like I was able to get Ashton Genty in like the 6th round. So I thought that this was a steal. And it's just been, with all 3 of those running backs, a conveyor belt of disappointment, right? Like it's just been nonstop.
Yeah.
And I think like you kind of knew that he was going to struggle with the Raiders because they're just not a good team. But you would figure like he would catch the ball. Like they would use him dynamically. He has a ton of drops in there. Like he's not running the ball worth a damn at all. And it's just a lot of it's because of the Raiders. If you got him in Dynasty, that to me is a good thing. But if you just have him in like a redraft type league, you have to hate the fact that you spent a draft pick on him.
Yeah. You're expecting your top first two draft picks here to be your horses, pretty much to carry you throughout the whole season and whatnot. So him having only the 100-yard game against my beloved Bears there, very disappointing. I think the only thing that's kind of saving him towards the end here is him being involved in the pass catching, in the passing game there. 6 catches, 8 catches, 6 catches there, being targeted quite frequently as well. But you're right. On the running part of it, completely almost non-existent, having only 30 rushing yards his last game, getting the bulk of carries, but just can't really do anything with them.
And again, it's because it's the Raiders, right? Like even signing Geno Smith, like you thought maybe they'll be okay because we thought Geno was good. They got Brock Bowers, right? Like we would have thought, okay, they've got something to build here. The Raiders are bad. And then I don't know how I forgot that Chip Kelly was their offensive coordinator and was the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL. That was a waste of money. Like Chip Kelly robbed the Las Vegas Raiders.
For sure. Definitely got a decent bag. I mean, he's kind of done that to a few teams, has he not?
He's done that ever since he left Oregon.
Right. I don't think he had the little flash in the pan there with Philadelphia, where they said they had the dream team there with Vince Young as the backup and whatnot. But obviously, it's not as easy as Madden, where you just get a bunch of 99 rated guys and just now you can ball out. The chemistry is a real thing, So, but one of the other disappointing guys, and you just mentioned him with the Raiders here, guy that was drafted fairly decent for a tight end, drafted 20, first tight end taken in most leagues, Brock Bowers. He had a little bit of injuries, but not too bad. Overall, for the tight end spot, would you be happy with his production here, looking at what he's done?
Like I think it also, like, again, it's the type of league you're in, right? Dynasty league, you're okay with it because you think that next year he's going to have a bounce back, right? Like I know, judging by that picture of him, he looks like he's 50 years old. He's still a young dude, right? Like he's such a young. Let go of the hair, my guy. It'll help you out. But
right,
if you're in a redraft league, it feels like a wasted pick because the Raiders, again, like they didn't utilize him. He missed a ton of games, or not a ton, but was it like 4 games, 5 games that he missed?
4 games, yeah, 4 games.
You've had him the majority of the season, but it's just
and one of those was a bye as well. So I mean,
yeah.
But yeah, you had him for the majority of the season. Only had one real game where he blew up there against Jacksonville. Had over 100 yards that game, beginning of the season. And then other than that, that's it. Touchdown wise, 3 touchdown game against Jacksonville, and then a 2 touchdown game against the Chargers, and then other than that, no touchdowns. So all his touchdowns come in 2 games. That's kind of funny. That's like Jesus Christ. Talk about feast or famine.
Against our second favorite team.
Our second favorite team?
Everyone's second favorite team.
Jacksonville? Duval.
Jaguars,
Duval.
baby. Everybody's second favorite team.
Right, that's right. Over at the tipping point, we made a blood oath, you could say. Some would say.
Right.
that Jacksonville is our AFC team, for some of us there. But Mike, we are pretty much at that point, actually a little past that point. Everyone, I want to thank everyone for joining us here at the Fantasy Football Hour here with the Quick Commish and the Mouth from the Bay. Mouth from the Bay was not available tonight. That's why we have that lovely face there that you see, Mike Tipton from the Tipping Point. Mike, can you please tell the people here at the Clubhouse where they could see more of that angel face of yours, and from what your wife allegedly said, lips of an angel and stuff. So tell them where the good people here at the Clubhouse could find more of you.
You can always follow me on social media at Mr. Tipton33. Took a little break from the Tipping Point, but we're bringing the Tipping Point back every Monday through Thursday. I don't think I want to do Friday shows because I want to get drunk on a Friday and just have myself a good old time. But every afternoon, evening, pre-evening, whatever it is you call it, 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, all the time zones. You should know them by now. If not, you're an idiot just like me. At Mr. Tipton33 is the best way to follow me on all my social media.
Awesome. Guys, if you haven't done that already, do that as soon as the show ends here, because it's going to be ending here in a few minutes. Do us a solid as well. Help us kind of get a head start into next year with the subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you haven't liked the page, please do me a solid and like the page. Thank you for checking us out over here at the Fantasy Football Hour here at the Clubhouse, the Chicago Clubhouse Network. We do appreciate you. Be safe out there with the holidays out there. There's a lot of guys like Tipton doing the drinking, but hopefully he ain't doing the driving along with that. But like I said, there are people out there. So don't be one of those people. Be safe out there. Be good out there. Yeah.
I was going to say, put it this way. I won't even do it. So, and I'm a huge piece of shit. So if you do it, you're a bigger piece of shit than I am.
Oh, nah, dog. Come on, man.
Don't do that to yourself, brother. Don't do that to yourself. Come on. Mike, like I said, thank you very much for kicking it with me over here at the Clubhouse and helping me out.
Hey, come back.
Come back, like Ice Cube says. Come back and kick it with us. It was a blast. I had a blast talking football with you, chopping it up. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself as well.
Of course I did. I appreciate it, brother.
Not a problem. We appreciate you over here at Chicago Clubhouse Network. We appreciate all the viewers we got today and all the people that liked and subscribed. Even if you didn't like and subscribe, you're officially a
L for love. Good times.
lurker. Don't be a lurker. All right. Like, subscribe. We would appreciate that. We would love that. But like I said, guys, be safe out there. Be good out there. But if you can't be good, damn it, at least be good at it.
You got to decide whether you're a wolf or a sheep.
Be a winner. Be a fantasy football winner. Let's.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.
And now